Welcome in. Hey, today's topic of discussion, I want to answer your question. What should I do if I don't find a buyer? Before we get started, what I want you to do is I want you to definitely hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Hey, I appreciate it. I appreciate the cooperation here. Now let's get started. I'm going to drop a couple of gems on you. So what should I do if I'm running out of time and I haven't found a buyer for my particular property? How do I go about getting rid of this property or getting out from under the contract with no penalties? Right? This is what we do. So one thing I teach, and I talk about this on my Let's Get Started with the Contract video, which you can hit the button right here and it'll take you right there. But I explain the due diligence period. That's very important. The due diligence period. This is where if you're looking to wholesale the property, you're going to do all your due diligence in this particular time period. So typically it's about 14 days. If it's a rural area, I would definitely say go about 30 days on the option period or your due diligence period. That way you have time to shop this property to multiple investors. And the story that I always tell my sellers is, hey, I work with a partner, a couple of partners, and I'm going to be bringing a lot of my money investors over, and I'm going to have some contractors come through. So if you don't mind, after this, we're definitely going to be coming back by the property. It may be a couple of people, it may be one or two people. It just depends on who's going to take on the deal and make it sweetest for me. So that's how you kind of prepare them to actually get contractors over there. But rule number one is definitely make sure you give yourself a long enough due diligence period or option period to do your homework, to bring your investors out there to shop the deal. If you don't have a lot of buyers, you may want to get this deal. You may want to get at least 14 days on the option period or due diligence period. That's going to give you 2 weeks, right? That's huge. If you have a ton of buyers, you may be comfortable with 3, but if you have a ton of buyers, you're probably not watching this video either, right? Just my opinion. So if you don't have buyers and you're worried about getting that property shopped at, give yourself the longest amount of period time to do due diligence, at least 2 weeks, and even better would be 30 days. That's even better, 30 days. So that's what we got, due diligence period. Number 2, if I can't find a buyer, what do I do? Hey, have you liked the video yet? Make sure you like the video. Why do I keep telling you this? Come on now, I thought you loved me. Don't terminate just yet. Go back and renegotiate with that particular seller. That's always, I would say, step number 1. You always go back to renegotiate, either renegotiate a little bit more due diligence period, right? Or renegotiate the actual sales price. That's what you always do. You always go back and renegotiate. You work too hard to get a contract. There's no reason to just let that contract go to the wayside. You need to go in there and have a tough conversation with the seller. If they're walking away with too much money, go in there and negotiate with them. Hey, look, you seen I brought a ton of investors by. I brought a ton of my investors by, and none of them just feel comfortable about this deal. Is there anything else we can work out? Because I want to close. That's the good news I have for you today. I want to close on this particular property, but right now at this price, I just can't. And you want to get them to that point to where, okay, Jordan, what is it that you can do? That's the point. That's what you want to hear from your seller. You want to talk about this and say, what is it that you can do? And then there's some opportunities to play good cop, bad cop in there as far as negotiating. But you want to go in there and renegotiate with that particular seller. We don't ever just let contracts go. We go back and renegotiate to get a better price, to make a larger spread, whatever the case may be. That way you can get that deal done and keep rolling. So we renegotiate. So number 1 is we got a longer due diligence period or option period. Number 2 is we renegotiate with our particular seller as far as a cash price. Number 3, and the final one, you negotiate the terms. They're not negotiating on the price. How about we negotiate on the terms? Instead of doing it cash, you know what, Mr. Seller, I would absolutely pay your price for the property, but I must do it on my terms. Right? That is very huge. That lingo right there. I would absolutely pay your price, but I have to do it on my terms. So now you get to dictate owner finance scenario to where they give you the loan for the property, and then you kind of move in it from that standpoint. You put your money down or you pay them out through over a period of time. But those are 3 options that you got if you can't find a buyer. You want to make sure Or if you don't have a buyer, you want to make sure you got a long option period. You want to make sure you go back and renegotiate. Number 3, you negotiate terms for the property if you can't get the right price for you. That way you keep moving and you get the deal done. Ultimately, he who gets the deal done keeps making money, and the people that keeps falling out, before you know it, they'll be falling out of real estate and no longer be our competition, right? So don't allow that to be you. Get proficient in these areas so we can keep winning. Let's go. Thank you, guys.